Problems. So they are one of the most important parts of our lives, yes? And every day we are involved in solving them, taking decisions, making decisions, not just professionally, but also personally. Sometimes we are so proud of the decisions that we make, sometimes we are not happy. Sometimes the moment we take one, we want to change it, and sometimes it's an absolute failure. So problems. They're not invited, but at the end of the day, they leave us either being a feeling of winning or learning. Now, my dear friends, what you and I are going to do in these 8 capsules or a series of capsules is understanding what is critical thinking and problem solving. So in every capsule, the objective will be A, of course, to understand what is critical thinking. What is the importance of CT? Are there certain attributes of a critical thinker? We will also understand the reasons why are we inhibited, or what are the fears, or what are the challenges? Why don't we think critically and how to overcome those barriers? And at the end, I will share with you 6 concepts or tools or techniques that will definitely enable you to take the right decision. Let's get started. So, sabse pehle, the first thing, what is a problem? Now, as per the Wikipedia, problem is defined as, a problem is an issue or an obstacle that makes it tough to achieve a desired goal, objective or purpose, and it refers to a situation, condition or issue that is yet unresolved. In a broad sense, a problem exists when an individual becomes aware of a significant difference between what actually is and what is desired. So that is the definition of problem. Now, how do we resolve it? Most of us, we take decisions being very emotional, dil se decisions. Some of us, we take, being very intuitive, gut feeling. There are few of us who are very logical by nature. There are certain sequences that we would like to follow because we've had past experiences. There are another few of us who would be very creative, try to take a decision which is out of the box. There are few of us who are very analytical. They want data, they want facts, they want to analyze and then make a decision. Now, from all these various ways, which one is the right way of making a decision? My dear friends, my name is Fatema Abbas, and that's what you and I are going to do, understand what is critical thinking. And the thumb rule of this particular way of thinking is, it's an amalgamation of all these various ways of thinking. So when I think critically, of course I take into account my emotions. Of course I take into account my judgment of my past experience. Of course I want data points and facts. Of course I'll go by my intuition or gut feeling. And alongside, I will also think out of the box. I'll think creative. Now that is what critical thinking is. You'd be amazed. In 2015 survey, CT is one of the most sought skill, one of the most important rated skill, and a lot of organizations are now doing trainings to ensure that their entire workforce starts thinking critically. So critical thinking moves us away from rash conclusions. That means when we take conclusions without thinking, without analysis, without data points, it takes us away from mystification. Now, what's the meaning of that? It means, hey, you know what? It's a mystery. I don't know things, but I'm just taking a decision. I'm still ambiguous about it. I don't know what to do. It moves away from the reluctance to ask questions. Now, let me tell you, my dear friends, one of the most important ability is to ask questions, ask relevant questions. So it moves us away from being reluctant to ask questions to the authority or even thinking traditionally and convention. And what it moves us towards, that's the blue side on your screen, it moves us towards intellectual discipline, which means I know I synthesize, I analyze, I conceptualize, and then I make a decision. It moves us to a clear expression of ideas. So I know that I don't have to get teased into one particular way, and I don't have to be afraid to express my opinion, because whatever opinion or decision that I'm taking right now, I'm considering all the aspects. And then it moves us towards the most important thing of decision making, which is taking your own accountability. So this is a decision that I have taken, and hence I'm going to see it through, I'm going to live it through. So this particular slide talks about what is the difference between a normal thinker and a critical thinker. The next thing, let's talk about, so what should be the attributes if I want to become a critical thinker? Now here, I want to express this. I keep on saying that critical thinking is a skill. What do I mean by saying that? Simple. A skill can be learned. A skill can be practiced. A skill can be mastered. So it's not that, I'm not born a critical thinker and hence that's an excuse that I get. No, that's not what it is. It can be developed. So now let's understand that if I want to become a critical thinker, what are the attributes that I need to develop, or I need to have, or I need to inculcate? Once again, on your slide, we will talk about the characteristics of critical thinker. So like you see, critical thinkers are habitually inquisitive. They want to know more. They want to explore more. They don't settle for conventional things. They like to be well informed. And you can only be well informed if you read, if you know, if you ask questions. They want to be open-minded. They do not want to get teased into thinking what is traditional, or even believing that there is no another way. So they're very open-minded. When I talk about open mind, I also say that they are very receptive to feedback. So yes, they take suggestions. Yes, they take opinions from the rest of their colleagues and friends, and they're open to feedback. They're flexible, they're honest, they're prudent, they're willing to consider, and they're also reasonable and focused. As your slide shows you, that these are the characteristics of a critical thinker. Now that we've understood that, all right, we face problems every day. Now that we've understood that, hey, there is an appropriate way to make decisions. Now, I'm not saying that this is a passport to the right decisions you're going to make, but I can say it with conviction that this particular technique of critical thinking will definitely increase your intensity or your percentage of taking informed, sound decisions. Because even if you fail in that, at the end of the day, you would have learned something from it. So we've seen that, we've understood the difference between two thinkings, we've understood what are the characteristics or the traits of a critical thinker. My dear friends, the last thing for this particular capsule of critical thinking is the process. Do I have to follow a process, Fatema, when I think? Of course, yes, you have to. And the reason why these steps are set or maintained, or the reason why we have a process, is so that we inadvertently, by mistake, don't miss any step. So once again, on your screen, my dear friends, we will talk about the process of critical thinking. As you can see, the first step, it says inform and describe, which means understand what is the issue. Do not be judgmental, do not be biased, do not see it superficially. Understand it completely, describe what the issue is. Because unless we are not able to find out where the problem is, we will not be able to curate, we will not be able to sculpt the right medicine for it. The next one, as you see on your screen, is to discover and explore. Now, what do I mean by saying this? Simple. What I mean is, hello, there are a lot of options. Yeah? The problem is one of the barriers. We do not want to explore options. So a critical thinking or a critical thinker will force him or herself to discover options. He or she will not get satisfied with one option. Well, Fatima, this could take a lot of time. I agree. Exploring option is time consuming. However, my friend, here's what I have to say. You may invest a little time in exploring options, but the outcome is absolutely strongly robust. The third one is to negotiate and cooperate. What does it mean? It says, okay, now that you have the options, you must see the pros and cons. You must keep in mind all the various ways of thinking, which is being judgmental, emotional, logical, analytical, intuitive, and creative. So keep those roles in your minds and then find out which could be the best option. The next step, which is one of my favorites, test, revise, try. If you think there is something that you can make amendments and change, go ahead. Oh, again, Fatima, we may not always have the time to test, or we may not always have the time or the opportunity to test. Well, I understand that, but probably these are 20% of the decisions that you will have to take on the spot. The rest, 80%, of course you have the bandwidth. Of course you have the opportunities to test and revise. So please use it. And the last one, my dear friends, वो कहते हैं ना, decisions तो हम बहुत लेते हैं. But the problem lies, are we able to even apply those for our benefits? So the last one in the step is to integrate and to apply these steps or the options that you've thought about. So for this particular capsule, this is what I, once again, Fatema Abbas, have to offer on one of the most beautiful skill, critical thinking and problem solving. Thank you.